Welcome everybody. We are coming to you live from Convene 42nd Street in New York, where we have just finished our 2019 NEDAS Summit. Ilissa, Steve, congratulations guys. This has been a great day, a terrific meeting. I wanted to sit down with the two of you to get your own thoughts on the day. What you thought worked really beautifully, what was new, what was different and exciting. So let me start with you, and then I'm going to turn it over to Steve, who's nodding knowingly back on that side. You guys are truly a team. But what was so great about today?
All right, so every year, I was talking to you about this earlier, every year when we end an event, or at least recently, we've been feeling really good about the events. And the challenge with that is that how do you outdo that the next time? And how do you maintain that same level of quality? Was it a fluke or was it magic, really, which is what it is?
What a great problem to have.
And we continue to create magic, right? So today was another magical day. And it's not just us, it's what we are able to create with the content and the speakers and the participants, the supporters, attendees. It's been a great day.
It's about the people. It's a sense of community,
blessed.
right? Yeah. So Steve, you have the same feeling? You're going,
Yeah, you know, it's really engagement and energy. Those two pieces, we talked about that at the beginning of the day, about engagement and the opportunity to be able to network, build relationships, and build this community. And one of the first things I saw was, I think Ari was asking with a raise of hands how many people were new at the show, and it was like 35%, 40%. That was amazing. So that was pretty awesome. The other tell was, the end of the day, the public safety, because we were running a little bit long in the tooth, the public safety was finished up at 6 o'clock, and it was past time. Everybody was still hanging.
Still there.
So that was an awesome tell too. So I couldn't be happier.
How do we keep creating that passion? So I think it goes beyond building a better meeting than the year before. It's making sure that we retain the passion.
Well, that's it. It's the hardest thing to do. It's not just passion, but it's relevance and it's inspiration. We spoke about this the other day. I truly want people to come here and leave inspired, that they've learned something, that they were able to look at something differently, and be able to apply that to what they're doing and hopefully solve problems.
This fish swims from the head down, and I'm just going to say that as somebody who's happy to be on the team, but it is the leadership, because you set a tone. The two of you really do set a tone. You're engaged with the people who come in the door. How do you make the choices of who's going to speak?
I think it really comes to authenticity at the moment of truth, because when you're talking about, anybody can come up and be on a panel, but when they're showing their authenticity and really vulnerable and honest and straightforward, no BS. Let's get straight to the point. And it's okay to have those conversations. And there's plenty of tough conversations throughout today, which was meaningful, because you got some real breakthroughs. Because I noticed after the panelists were finished on almost every session, afterwards they would huddle up afterwards and talk 15, 20 minutes. The conversations carried. So that says an awful lot as well.
I couldn't agree more. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to be here at one of the meetings, which we very much want you to do, and please take the opportunity to come to the next meeting closest to you, Washington, D.C., your next opportunity in November. It is the fact that right outside the main doors, we've got a sofa area set up, and you're right, the panelists will get together and they'll spend 15, 20, 30 minutes talking with one another before they hit the stage, and then as you say, they'll do it afterwards as well. You can't manufacture that. That doesn't come in a bottle. That's the connection between people who have a deep-seated belief in what they're doing and who want to hear each other's ideas and create something together.
It's been great. The feedback, the stories, the sentiment, everything that I would hope an attendee would want at an event. So yeah.
And you know what? The audience needs it, because when you're talking about what this platform is about, there's so much thirst for understanding what the trend is, because there's so much dynamic change. We talk about convergence all the time, but you talk about what the trends are and the need. I mean, you talk about workforce, the challenges of workforce. You talk about the programs that we have. You're talking about welcoming for new groups, and then to finish it off with charity. I mean, it's really kind of symbolizes what we've been all about.
and you guys are continuing to make it grow. I was talking with Ezra earlier, and I wanted to hear not only his thoughts on how all of this got started with you and with Ezra years ago, but also when he got to the point where he was looking for the person to take that baton and run it forward. And he met you, and he said he's got a real gut instinct for people. And right away, he met you, and he said, this is the woman to do this. And you had a learning curve that was connected to it to get where you needed to be. Yeah. But he saw in you exactly the right person, and he said clearly his confidence was anything but unfounded. You've done a beautiful job with it. How do you keep, this is what you started out by saying, how do you keep upping the ante for yourself in addition to upping the ante for everyone here?
It's not a competition, right? I really think hard about it. While we do force ourselves to be competitive, it's not about that. It's what's appropriate at the time. What is it that you're able to create with what's happening around you, with the companies, the sentiment, it's everything. It's being able to process that, and how do you tell it back to people in this story to summarize it for them, what information is out there. And that to me, I feel is like, as a PR person, right? As a newsy type person, it's about being able to convey those thoughts and ideas through the discussions. It's not just about the topics. And I think, that's what I like to do.
It's creating constant meaning. Always make it meaningful. I want to, before we wrap things up, I want to talk about the two of you guys, because the two of you have a fabulous symbiosis that both of you very clearly feel. It's been long-term. You just sort of riff off of one another. It makes sense. You're very different personality types, and yet you put the two of you together and you make really great things happen, as we did all day here today. What do you think is the secret sauce on that, Steve?
I think we're just real people, and the fact that we both we both understand kind of how we both operate together, and we work so well. It's almost like osmosis. Like we've been on the same team for such a long time that we kind of know what the next move is going to be. So we're able to anticipate with each other, and I think that part it's rare.
And there's a lot of trust there,
yes.
Right? So he trusts that when I come to him with a thought and an idea, and I've thought it out, if I'm able to position it, sure, I'll support you on it, right? He's not there to take me down or compete with me. He's there to support me and empower me. And I think, I try to do the same thing for you.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's catching lightning in a bottle. That doesn't happen all the time, that sort of natural ability to work together. It's a little bit of unicorn. Last thing I want to talk about. Again, hugely successful day. We're already starting to prepare for next year in your brain. I can see it happening right now. If you were sitting where I would, you would see the little wheels turning. As you start to do that, and as you look at the marketing message for NEDAS, the desire to bring even more people on board and get them even more connected, let's talk about the branding a little bit, because this has gone way beyond DAS. And we started off the day in talking CBRS capabilities, right, which is going to be a huge, huge leap forward as we press toward 5G. What do you see the organization looking like even a year out?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll start, because I think one of the first cornerstones here are the committees. We have a fantastic advisory board, and that is a huge differentiator, because these people are committed, they are dialed in, and I think with what we're doing with these committees, it's continuing, it's ongoing and continuous growth. And what I mean by that is like the Welcome Committee and being able to have different types of presentations. When we're talking about the Workforce Committee and bringing in like NYU Stern School of Business, we're going to see a lot more of that. And I think that when we start to create these new breakthroughs, it's going to change the dynamics.
Charity Committee. I couldn't agree more that that's really been the cornerstone, and it keeps us tapped into and connected with our community in a real way. That we're all looking at the world from a certain perspective. Let's share it, right? We have to work through this. Let's create programs that address these concerns, and being able to do that on a day-to-day basis in many ways, I think just helps us stay connected and tapped in.
I'm going to give you just a little bit of feedback in the background that you guys probably don't always hear face to face. I know people come up to you and they tell you how much they appreciate what you do and what a great job that you do, and how much they value the way you're serving the industry. Even when you guys are not around, though, throughout the day-to-day, people kept coming up to me and they would introduce themselves based on their connection with you, and they would say, oh, I just love Ilissa. She's amazing. She's incredible. Steve he's such a visionary, and he's such a guide, and he's such a grounding force. So even when you're not around, your praises are being sung in a lot of ways, and I think you can see the results right outside those doors right now. So congratulations. Thank you guys. It is a joy to be a part of, and I'm grateful to be a part of it.
And thank you for carrying us through the entire day.
You did an awesome job.
It's an absolute
Great
pleasure.
job. Oh
so
my gosh.
thank you guys.
Looking forward to it again.
Absolutely. And for those of you, again, who have not made it to a NEDAS meeting, come and join us. We want to see you there. We're glad to have you here, but we want to see you in person as well. So thanks again, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.